You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 276. If you think your ex's new partner is better, listen to this. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. How is everyone doing? I am back. I'm so excited. I have missed you guys. I am on the other side of newborn life. We have passed the 3-month mark with Teddy, who was born on October 11th. So crazy, y'all. I had such a fun experience. So I just now thought of this, but I'll have to do an update, a life update for any of you who are actually interested. But I don't want to do that on one of the regular episodes. So anyways, I think back to the days that I was so utterly heartbroken, and I just wish that I could show myself the images of the life that I'm living today, because it's everything and more that I had wanted when I was going through that deep, dark, rock bottom breakup. So if you are heartbroken, please, please, please use this as a sign that everything's going to be okay. That, if you're still working on your bigger and better life and it feels further away than you'd like, use this as a sign to just keep going. It is all on its way to you, and things are only going up from here. And I know when you're in the depths of it, you really just need to hear over and over and over again that it's going to be okay, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. So I'm here to say that to you today. I love you. Everything's going to be okay. I know it might not feel that way, and we're going to work on it, okay? Everything you've been wanting, everything that you visualized with your ex or that you're seeing in your head right now, it will come to reality, and I'm excited for you to experience that. You will get that no matter what your ex does, okay? I would love some updates from those of you who have been listening for the last 3 months. How are things going? Find me on Instagram at Breakup Coach Dorothy, and I'd love to chat and see how you've been doing. Give me an update back. Hello. And then, before we start the episode today, I also just wanted to mention that we have some updates here at Breakup Coach Dorothy LLC. I am going to be back live, right? I'm off of maternity leave. I am hosting the Get Over Your Ex program live, and I think we're going to do it 2 times a year. We used to have it, actually in the very beginning, I would host it 4 times a year live with cohorts, and then we switched it to always open. So it was like a revolving door. People were coming in and going out at all different times. And now I want to do cohorts again, and I'm going to be running it twice a year instead of 4 times a year. So I'm so excited to be back. It's going to be epic and amazing. If you are looking to turn your heartbreak into happy and your pain into power and do more than move on from your ex, you want to build your bigger and better life in 3 months or less, enrollment is opening February 13th, right before Valentine's Day. I mean, divine timing, absolutely amazing, right? And to kick us off, I'll be hosting our 5-day training, the 5-day live event that is for heartbroken humans who didn't want the breakup in the first place. For those of you who feel forced to leave, maybe, or for anyone really who is on their journey towards building your bigger and better life. So that 5-day event is completely free. No matter where you are in your breakup journey, you are invited and welcome to join us. I hope that I see you there. You have me as your coach for 5 days. So much transformation happens in those 5 days. So it's a great reboot. It's going to be happening the week of Valentine's Day live, February 10th through the 14th. And then you will have the opportunity to enroll into the Get Over Your Ex program February 13th and save your spot there since we are doing cohorts. I'm so excited. So you can sign up at dorothyabjohnson.com/5-day live training. We will drop that link in the show notes for you as well. Amazing. So let's get started. I wanted to talk today about jealousy, and I wanted to talk about it in respect to when you're thinking about your ex's new partner and you're feeling like your ex's new partner is better than you. Now, I was actually catching up with a friend via voice message. This is one of my favorite things to do. And she's been working on herself for the last year or so. And we got to talking about how do we deal with jealousy. And my answer literally just flooded and fell out of my mind. Probably because I've spent many hours coaching on jealousy, and it has been a lived experience for me. It is something that I have spent the last many years getting better at. And I experienced jealousy a lot in my big relationship that everyone on this podcast knows about if you've been listening to it for a while. But I also experienced jealousy in multiple relationships since that breakup. And so not only have I experienced jealousy while in relationships, but I've also experienced jealousy outside of relationships. And so I've helped people with it in a lot of different ways. But today I really want to talk about how do we, deal with this idea that an ex's new partner is better than us. Now I went through my episodes and I couldn't find a title that had the word jealousy in it. So I'm sure I've talked about this in episodes before, but I wanted to circle back and I wanted it to be specific about when you're feeling like your ex's new partner is better. And I remember when my ex left and immediately started seeing this new girl, my brave hearts. From the outside, she looked so cool, like legit awesome. She was a gymnast, I think. She could French braid her hair. She was skinny, tan, athletic, literally everything I wasn't. She was amazing in my mind. I had such great thoughts and opinions of her. I thought she was so cool, so amazing. And it was gut-wrenching to watch my ex date someone who is better than me in my mind. And it's really hard. It's just so hard. I want to just start the episode off with it's hard to see the person you loved and still love be with someone else, let alone someone that you think is better than you. And the reason it's so hard is because of the way that you're feeling when you think about it, right? It feels awful. It feels absolutely horrible. And so I want to come back to the basics today. I want to come back to the real problem. And to do that, we have to remember how we think, the thoughts in our brain, is what creates how we feel. Our emotional experience is always created by our thinking. So when we think about that, I want you to just take a moment and recognize what are the thoughts that I have about myself, about my new part, or about my ex's new partner, and about my ex. That collection of beliefs or thoughts or ideas or perspectives are what's creating that really icky experience. And a lot of times the underlying thought or belief is this person is better. Whether that's she's prettier than me, she's more patient than me, she has her shit together better than me, she's more flexible than me, he likes her better. All of those are flavors of like, this person is better than me. And so how do we solve for this problem? What do we do when we find ourselves constantly obsessing over them, constantly ruminating and comparing ourselves to this new person or the new relationship? And the most simple answer, my friends, is to change how we think about the new person, about your ex, and most importantly, about yourself. Now, that is the most simple answer, but let's break it down a little bit more, and I've got 3 steps. Oh my God, can we just side note for a second? It feels so good to be back recording, giving you next steps. I love formulating steps. This is just so fun. Okay, so step 1, witness and allow yourself to experience the jealousy. This is easier said than done. But this is literally step 1 and the most important part. If you cannot witness your jealousy, if you cannot see it and then not take immediate action from that jealousy, it's really hard to do step 2 or 3. It won't feel genuine when you do step 2 or 3. It will be a short-term change, not a long-term change. We're not trying to just fix something for short term, we really want to create new defaults for how we react. And let me give you an example that's outside of a breakup that might give you some perspective. So like I said, I've worked on jealousy in relationships as well as outside. So I remember I was with this guy. He was super freaking patient with me. Just a real gentleman, if I might say so myself. He was really good at not getting mad at me or angry with me when I would feel jealous and act out. So we had room and space in that relationship for me to actively work on jealousy. Now, the way this would show up is, let's say, one of the examples that I remember and recall right now is that I would see him at a party and he'd be talking to a woman who was super attractive. He also was a photographer, so he worked with very attractive women looking stunning, right? So long story short, my body in those moments, it would be a visceral reaction. I would feel a rising up and spinning jealousy in my body. It was so hard not to immediately react. Now, my default was to have an immediate reaction to that experience and to that feeling. I would flee, like I would run from the party and just be so upset. I would say something petty or get mad, cause a scene in some way, shape, or form. And they seemed subtle to me. Whether they were subtle to other people, I don't know. But I would go into the bathroom and cry. I would run out and cry and then blow up his phone and rage text. I would walk over to him and then start a petty fight and then run away. It was wild. When I look back on those actions, they seem very childish, but I have so much love for her because she was really struggling through those experiences. Now, remember, the way we act, the way we behave in the world is based off of how we're feeling. So the reason I was acting that way was because I was feeling jealous. I'd be doing these out of character things, acting out because I was feeling jealousy. And then I'd have to ask myself, why? Why am I feeling jealous? Because a thought creates the feeling jealousy, right? So the thought for me was, either it was a form of two things. It was either he's going to leave me for her, AKA because she's better than me, right? She's better than me, therefore he's going to leave me to be with this other person. So that's just looking at it from inside of the relationship. Maybe maybe you had some of those default things happening in your relationship that led to the breakup. Totally get it. Totally understand. Now, I couldn't even look at those instances and do something about them without having witnessed the jealousy and learning how to sit with it while not reacting to the jealousy, because otherwise it's just a natural progression of I have this thought, I have this feeling, and then I act out and I participate in these behaviors. You have to stop yourself before the action to witness the feeling and hold space for the feeling without reacting to it immediately. So then that begs the question, how in the world do we do this? Now, this is my trick that I've used for myself and I provided to my clients, and it works wonders, my friends, okay? When you notice yourself feeling that feeling, the first thing I want you to do is say, just because I'm feeling jealous doesn't mean anything bad is happening. What? Feeling jealousy doesn't mean something bad has happened or is going to happen. It is safe and okay to be feeling the way that I'm feeling. I'm going to be okay. I still, to this day, do not live a life void of jealousy. I am in a happy marriage. I have my child. I have a home. I have many of the things that I've always wanted, and I do not live a jealousy-free life. Now, that's okay because I believe in the 50-50 world. The beauty of it, though, is that I remind myself anytime I notice or witness that experience, that emotional, visceral reaction to my body, the first thing that is by default now, that didn't always be this way, is it's okay. Just because I'm feeling this way doesn't mean something bad is happening. Isn't that amazing? So freeing, which I know is difficult when you're going through a breakup, okay? But it's addressing your feeling before addressing the problem of why you feel that way. So when you're noticing yourself feeling jealous because you think your ex's new partner is better than you, step one is to witness and allow yourself to experience the jealousy. And the way you do that is becoming aware of the emotion and then address the emotion before you address the problem, right? And we can do that by reminding ourselves it's safe to feel this way. And just because I'm feeling this way doesn't mean something bad has happened or is going to happen, okay? And trust me, I hear you, right? When you're going through a breakup or a divorce, it feels like something bad has already happened. So you're like, Dorothy, something bad's already happened. But I talk about this so much throughout this entire podcast in many of the episodes. But I want to remind you of one thing. Now, even though it doesn't feel like it, all of this, including your breakup and your divorce, is happening for you and not to you. And I realize that that can feel jarring to hear when you are in the depths of it. But stick with me and I will show you how a bigger and better life is on the other side of your breakup or divorce. Okay? So that covers step one. Step two, look at and question the ideas that make you think and feel jealous around someone else being better than you. Now, my favorite questions to ask when you're questioning the validity of a thought are, number one, is it possible I'm wrong? Number two, who would I be without this belief? And number three, which is a two-part question, is what is the problem my brain is trying to solve by believing this thought? And is believing that thought getting me closer to the solution of that problem? So let's do it here together. But I want you to remember that sometimes this resonates. So as I go through and I question, you might find some of it resonates with you and you might find some of it doesn't. And that is where the power of coaching comes into play. Having a coach to walk you through and coach you through your own thoughts and beliefs and get to a landing place, a grounded place of, okay, I see the invalidity of this and I feel I have found a new belief to believe or grab onto. And that's the power of coaching. So just recognize that, whether you hire a coach and go through this, whether you join the Get Over Your Ex program and walk through this, or whether you just journal on your own and do some self-coaching, remember that you are different than the person next to you. And you've got to question these yourself and force yourself to give you answers. Do not let your brain be lazy and just ask questions all day and never give yourself answers, okay? Remember, not everything you believe is true. And even if it feels true, it doesn't mean it is true. You always get to choose what you believe. And many of us walk around in life never having questioned beliefs or thoughts we've had our whole life because we simply didn't realize it was an option to question them. Okay? So the thought we're questioning right now is, my ex's new partner is better. I want to ask you, is it possible I'm wrong? Why, yes, it is possible. In these instances, I'd love to be wrong about that, right? How might I be wrong? Well, I like to think that it's not about how people are better or worse, but everyone is just different. And when people choose to be in a relationship or leave, it's about alignment. Do these two people align? So perhaps it's not about her being better, but more about her being more aligned for the moment that those two individuals are in. Now, I can hear it. Again, for a lot of you, that doesn't help. You're like, I still feel like shit. I want to be aligned to my ex. But I would really question that. Do you really? And I want to give you an example or do some foreshadowing for you. What if your ex never changed? What if 2 years from now, you all were in a relationship, you got everything you wanted, a house, a husband, a baby, your career that you wanted, but your husband and you were still having the same conversations, still struggling with the same problems? What might you wish you had done 2 years earlier? Seriously consider that, like foreshadow yourself. Is that the right word? Foreshadow, like show yourself the future if you were to stay in that relationship and nothing was different. Would you wish you have done something different in this present moment? Consider it. And instead, I want you to remember that you want someone who aligns with you, who you authentically are and can roll with you when you change, and you can roll with them when they change. Someone who's willing to work through things with you. And if your ex left and moved on to someone else who aligned with them better, they were unwilling to work through some tough stuff with you, and that is telling. Now, some of you stuck around and tried to work out things with someone, and you felt forced to leave because they weren't changing. Again, that is also telling. You don't want to be with someone who is the same 2 years from now. Now, the next question I like to ask is, who would I be without this belief? Who would I be if I wasn't believing my ex's new partner is better? Well, I'd be less judgmental of myself, right? I'd be someone who doesn't think as poorly of myself. I'd perhaps stay in my own lane more, be looking at me and my life and what I want, and going out and creating that. I remember when I spent less time looking at my ex's new girlfriend, which again, she looked amazing. She had the perfect Instagram. It was absolutely heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, all of that. When I stopped looking at them and what they had and analyzing all the ways that she was better, I started looking at my life and realizing these are the things that I want better in my life. And I went out and I started actually creating them. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on them, you will grow them. If you focus on you, you will grow you. What? Right? Now, the other question that I like to ask is, what is the problem my brain is trying to solve by believing my ex's new partner is better? And perhaps the problem my brain wants to try and solve is how to be back together with my ex, or figure out how to be better so that my ex wants to be with me still. That might be some of your answers, right? Now, when I'm believing that my ex's new partner is better, does that actually solve the problem of me trying to be better? No, right? I actually show up worse than I want to. I'm not myself. I'm not doing better when I think that and believe that. So then the question becomes, who do I want to be, and how do I need to feel to be that way and show up that way? And what do I need to think and believe to feel the way that I want to feel? Now, answering these questions, journaling through them, my friends, will give you so much insight and so many new thoughts, ideas, and perspectives to try on and create a different reality, because changing your experience in the present moment is only one thought away. All you have to do is change one thought. So, step 1, witness and allow yourself to experience the jealousy without reacting to it. Step 2, identify the thoughts that make you feel jealous and question the validity of them. Step 3 is practicing these new thoughts, perspectives, and beliefs that you'd like to have in moments where you notice yourself ruminating and obsessing over your ex's new partner, okay? There are so many modalities to practicing new thoughts, and it's truly about consistency. I've been doing this for years. I've been helping people get over their exes and build their bigger and better lives for years. The people who are consistent are the people I see completely transform and change their life. The people who are not are the people who stay in the same spot. We work on this a lot inside of the Get Over Your Ex program, and I've shared many ways of practicing new thoughts throughout this entire podcast. We have 276 episodes. But I'm going to give you some here inside this episode right now to get you started, okay? So the first one is rehearsing them, right? Affirmations on your phone, on the mirror, in your car. What you focus on grows. If you are consistently seeing these and saying them back to yourself, they will grow. Another way is acting as if. How does the version of you that you love show up in moments like this? What does she do? How does she respond? How does she handle it? What is she saying to herself? Dress up, put that costume on each day, and put that version of you first. Visualize. Create a Pinterest board that is dedicated to who you're becoming. Tap into that board every time you need a reminder of who you are and where you're going. Integrate those thoughts into the board. Another one that I love is asking people close to you to remind you of new beliefs. This one's one of my favorites. The more people who believe something, the quicker the manifestation appears. So when you ask those close to you to support the new version of you, tell them beliefs you are believing and don't fully believe yet, and ask them to remind you of those thoughts, those beliefs, when they are witnessing you sliding back into old thoughts and ideas. And oftentimes I actually find my friends will text me examples of how I am already believing and living that new belief. And the last tip that I want to give you is evaluate. A part of practicing new thoughts and beliefs is evaluating the times that you did or did not recenter to the new ideas. So if you had an experience of feeling jealous or noticing yourself obsessing over your ex's new partner or thinking they're better than you, I would look back on that past experience and identify, what did I do well? What didn't I do well? And what do I specifically want to do different next time? And remember, when you're doing that, you're only including things that you actually have control over. You don't have control over what your ex did or your ex's new partner. And if it's something like, oh, I'm just not going to look at her social media next time, try to take it a step further and ask yourself, if I do look at her social media, what would I do differently? Okay? All right, my friends, I know today's episode was rather long, but step 1, witness and allow yourself to experience the jealousy without reacting. Step 2, question the validity of the beliefs that you are creating that are creating the negative experience, aka that belief that my ex's new partner is better. And step 3, practice your new beliefs, ideas, and perspectives that create a new experience for you. You've got this. And remember, just because your ex has moved on doesn't mean you won't get everything you've ever wanted, okay? The more you focus on them, the less progress you make on you. So even though it's difficult, please, please, please remember, you have no idea what they are going through, and your job isn't to analyze them and figure out what's going on with them. Your job now, more than ever, is to go out and create a life that is bigger and better than the one that you had with your ex. All right, I hope to see you next week. I love you. I'm sending you big hugs, and I will talk to you next time.
If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.